Hi and welcome to MySQL Database Connection developed in VisualBasic.net. Now let me show you guys how this works. We can add new data. Let's assume we want to add new data. Let's just click on reset, and right there let's enter as follows. So I'm going to make that up, and the name happens to be Grace Stanmore. Address of Stanmore, 83 Stanmore Road. There we go. And postcode, telephone number. There. All we then need to do is add Grace Stanmore straight onto the system. As you can see, there's nothing in there, so let's click on add new. There we go, and that is Grace Stanmore details straight onto the database itself. Alright, the other thing we can do is we can print. There, I don't have a printer on my system, but we can print. Look at it. All you then need to do is click on print, and you print it right away. Exit that. What else can we do? Assume we want to update the details of any of these. Let's select Danny, and in here we just want to maybe change the telephone number. Let's come in here and just change that to 148, and that's the details of Danny Jonathan. So let's take a good look at the telephone here. All we then need to do is click on update. There, as you can see, the details of Danny, the telephone details has changed to the last 3 digits, 148. Okay, you can exit out if you want, and we can even search. Let's assume we want to search for maybe Tony. Let's come in here and just press enter, and there we go. Those are Tony's information. And click on reset. And the other thing is we can even select Tony's details here. There, you see that. Okay, but if you click in here, let's assume you click in here, you will end up with an error asking you to click on the side here where the arrow is. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Visual Basic development environment, and we'll put one of these brilliant tutorials together. Let's start a new tutorial. I'm going to click on create new, and right here I'm going to select Visual Basic, and let's come in here and select next. There, I'm going to give it a name. Let's call it VB underscore MySQL Connector. MySQL Connector. There, and let's click on create. There we go. Okay, my development environment is ready. I'm going to change the size of the form to 1000. Let's say 1014 by 788. Press enter, and that's it. Now let's come in here, go straight to the tools. I'm going to select plain. Let's come right here. There we go. Or panel, it's called here. For this very first panel, I'm going to change the size to about 996 by 97. And let's come straight to the back color here. Let's change that to cadet blue. There. Now let's drag it right here. That's fine. I'm going to copy another panel. I might as well just copy this. Hold on to your control, click and drag. And this very one that I've just copied, I'm going to change the color of that one to the back color, back to control. There we go. And this one that is now changed to control, let's reduce it that much and that much. And I'm going to embed it straight in here. Just move it up here. I'm now going to copy both of them again. Just hold on to your control, just click and drag. Let's copy this one as well. There. And I'm going to combine both together and just drag it that much. Bring this one back in a little bit. Yeah. Just like that, and just let's try that again. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, I'll repeat the same thing for this. Now combine them and bring it down. Exactly. And reduce this there. I will now copy this very one again. Reduce this much. Okay, let's copy it first before increasing it. Right, now grab control, hold on to your control, click and drag. And I'm going to place this right at the edge here. Okay, now select both of those and just drag it down. Okay, let's bring it in. Okay, just in like that. Okay, so let's add a label up there. So come straight to the toolbox here, grab a label, place that in there, and I'm just going to copy that same label, click, drag, and drop it here. I also need text box. Come right down here, grab some text box. This one will do, and I will also need one text box here, or maybe reduce this very one. Yeah, about that much. And let's add another panel here. Yeah. Change the color to control. There. Now I'm going to add a text box there. That will be for the search. Just drop this down, just make it multi-line, drag it down. Okay, now this very one, I'm going to increase the size of those to about 24. The font size is 24. Make that bold 24. There we go. I'll move that up. Alright, that's looking good. Now let's copy this. Hold on to your control, click and drag. We have 2 now. We have 4 and 6. There. So right underneath here, I'm going to add data grid view. Where is it? Right here. Click and just drag it here. Data grid view. There we go. Now that is in place. Okay, this very one, let's change that to about 48 and make that bold. Come up here and change the font. I'm going to change the font to Connect Blue. There. No, not the background. The fonts. The 4 color. Okay, undo that. Do that again. Oh no, okay, I might as well type control. Come in here, 4 color, change the 4 color to Connect Blue. I'll just type it in instead of looking for it. There. Drag that up somewhere there. And let's change the font we have on it. So I'm going to change that to MySQL. Let's come right down here. MySQL connection. So nvb.net. There. So that is fine. So here, let's add some buttons here. We're gonna need maybe about 6. We have 1, 2, 4 and 6. We'll move all of this up so that I can sneak in 2 more right there. Okay, we'll fix that anyway. Alright, now the next thing is I'm going to change the data that I have in here. So let's change this to student ID. For your information, this is just about how to connect to database. It's not about student ID or whatever. It's just about how to connect. Okay, the next one is going to be surname and so on. So let's speed that up. Okay, that's taken care of now, and that's how it's looking. Let's come straight to the property here. I'm going to let's select the form. You see, with the form I want to get it centered, so let's go to start position, click on that and get it centered. Center screen. Now back in here, you see the toolbox. I'm going to add tooltip, and I will also add print documents and print dialog. So I've added those 3 objects. Let's select this print dialog and come straight to the property here. You see where we have document in the property. Let's change that to print document 1. There, that's taken care of. Okay, all of these I'm just going to select them individually and come right down here. You see where we have the search. I'm just going to type in there search, and this is going to be, I'm talking about the tooltip. That's going to be add new, change that, add new, update, delete, reset, print, and the last one that is going to be exit. Okay, and I've also changed the variable names for each of the component. That's btn exit, btn delete, and so on. You guys know how to do that. That's no big deal. That is it right there. The names have changed. Alright, and the same thing applies to the text box. They all bear the names that I have on my labels here. There. Okay, that's fine. Now, the most important part of this project is how to connect to the MySQL database. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the tools right here. Click on the tools. Let's come right down here. You see where we have NuGet package manager. Let's come down, select manager NuGet package for solution. Click on that, and this dialog box should pop up. Now select the browse. Click on browse. Now right in there, the search, enter MySQL. There we go. That is it. So I'm going to select this very first one. Click on that, and this dialog pops up. Now this check button here, just make sure it's checked, and then click on install. There we go. Now MySQL data has been installed to the system, so all you just need to do in here is to click on OK. There we go, and this license agreement pops up. Just click on I accept. There. Now MySQL is now being installed onto your system, and we are almost there now. Alright, MySQL is officially installed straight onto my system, so I am going to close the NuGet solution. I don't need that anymore. There. So the next thing I want to do now, okay, let's start work with the data connection. So I'm going to double click on the form itself, and the first thing I want to do now is I'm going to make sure right above the public class form 1, let's import the, I'm going to import my SQL, imports, that's with an S, my SQL, there we go, that's it right there, because I've already installed it, that's why I saw that, dot data, and it's going to be dot MySQL client there. And the other library that I'm going to import, let me import the following. That is going to be Microsoft Visual Basic Application. That's a dot VB application services. Then what about Windows services? Let me grab that of Windows services as well. I'm going to copy that and just paste that in here. Dot, no, that's going to be Microsoft dot Win32. Okay, that's fine. There. Now, right underneath the public class form 1, I'm going to declare the following. Dim my variable, I'm going to call it SQL can as new, and that is going to be MySQL. Let's just enter it myself. MySQL connection, where is it? There we go. That's one down. I also need another one for the command, so let me copy all of this. I'm going to change that to command instead of typing. Paste, and this is going to be my SQL command. Let's change this one to command, and here that will be my SQL command. Let's see, there we go. Now what else do I need? I need the reader as well, SQL reader, so I've called it SQLRD. The SQLRD is going to be MySQL reader, data reader, actually, data reader. There we go. Alright, let's see. It's not an object, so I'm going to get rid of the new. Alright, what else do I need? Let me grab a table. So I'm going to call that SQL DT, data table. So that is going to be new. Okay, it's an object. Data table. And finally, I'm going to go for dim SQL data adapter. So let's change this one first to SQL, or I'm just going to call it DT uppercase A data adapter as new MySQL data adapter. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, now underneath, let me connect all of these. So the first one, dim server, so that is for my SQL server as string equals, that would be local, it's a local host there. And the next one is going to be for the username dim username as string as well, and the username is just root. There. Now the next one is going to be for password. Let's just copy, paste that underneath here, password, and this is going to, let me change this to password. And the password, let's make that up. You can call it admin. That'll be my password. And in here, I'm going to change that to the database name. Database name, let's make this up. We just call it MySQL connector, or just call it, yeah, okay, my connector. All right, that's going to be the name of my database, my connector. That's all. But the thing is, I don't have a database yet, and we'll create that together. But I will also need this private bitmap as bitmap. That I'm going to be using that for my printing. Okay, that is all done. So let me copy this very name, my connector, and I will then open up my database. Okay, that's my database here, but I don't have my connector there. I'll click on the schema there, click on the schema, let's create my connector, paste the name I've just copied, and I'll click on apply. So I'm now creating my connector. Click on apply again and finish. So let's look for my connector. That's it right there. Okay, now right click on the table inside my connector and select create and give it a name. The name, I'm calling it exactly the same name, my connector. And you see this arrow, we drop it down. Now the very first field I'm going to have in there, let me just make that up. I'll call that, let's use uppercase, student ID, and I'm going to make that the data type is integer, and the primary is the primary key. There's no non-value in there. It's got to be unique. I'm going to leave this out now because I'll be entering my own details in there. So I wanted to make it auto increment. No, I don't want that. So in here, the next one, I'm going to call that first name. And right underneath here, let's call that surname. And what else do we have? We have surname. I'm going to make this address, and the next one is going to be postcode. Yeah. Okay, and followed by telephone number. There we go. That is it, all done. In total, I have 6 fields, I believe. Yeah. Okay, let's click on apply. There we go. Click on apply again. And there, that is it. It's successfully created. Click on finish. So I finished with my SQL whatever table. So if I go into my table here, okay, select my SQL, that is it right there. Click on the table, there's nothing there. Okay, so let's minimize that. I'm back into our Visual Basic Development environment. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the form of the Visual Basic Development environment. Let's start work with some coding. The very first one I'm going to take care of is going to be my exit. So for my exit, I'm going to declare the following: dim I exit as dialog result. There. And this my dialog result, I'm going to be using that to validate whatever selection the user made when it comes to exiting the program. So I exit equals my message box dot show. And what do I want it to show? I want it to show confirm if you want to exit. There, that's the very first one. I'm going to put a comma. The next one is going to be the title, so I'm just going to call that MySQL connector. There, and let's come out of it, enter another comma, and that is going to be message box buttons dot yes or no, comma. The next one will be message box icon dot question. There. Okay, now that we have all of those in place, let's come right here and press enter, and I will now use an if statement. If I exit equals dialog result dot yes, then application dot exit. There, guys. So what I've just done in here, I declared a variable called iExit, and this iExit has the following: a message box, which you guys know how to create by now. Then I have one parameter here, the second parameter, my third parameter, or my third argument, and my fourth argument. So if the user selects yes, then we exit out of the application, else we just stay within the application. And this, the message box icon, that is the question mark that will appear on my message box. And that is all there is to that. So I'm going to run it. Let's run it so that you guys see what I'm talking about. Run. There we go, guys. So I'm going to click on exit. No, I don't want to exit. Yes, I do want to exit. You see that, guys? So that is how the exit button works. So let me exit out, and the next thing I'd like to do now, maybe I should put that right underneath here, underneath all my variables and so on. I'm going to create a private function here, and this function I'm going to use it to manipulate the connection of all the strings in my database. So I'm going to call it update table. Okay, and inside this my function, the first thing I like to do is, you see this very object that I created in there, I'm going to call that same object in here, enter that object in there, then I'm going to say dot connection string. This connection string is going to be used to manipulate these strings within this system. So connection string, let's say server, then plus server, plus I'm going to enter, let's enter a semicolon there. Then the next one is going to be the user ID. So let's say user ID, close that, and let's enter another. I'm going to just enter plus in there. Let's say user ID equals plus, and that is going to be username. Okay, the server equals server, it should be plus here. Okay, and there's a comma there, this equals user, and this user should have a comma here as well. Then let's enter another speech mark. Then the next one is going to be for my password. Let's come down here and just enter password. You can see before I actually come down to the next row, I sort of like enter a space there. Okay, so if you want to do that, you must enter a space, and I'm going to just enter plus and so on, just more or less repeating the same thing over and over again. So in fact, I can copy all of this, paste it right here, and just change the text content. Now this one is going to be password, and in here this will be password as well. There should be a plus here though. Okay, now we have that done. The next one here, that is going to be the name of the database itself. So let's enter database. Database equals database. Okay, grab that and just paste that in here. Equals database, and all of this we have to go there. Now that is taken care of. And let's come back up here now, let's ask this guy to open up. So come back here, just dot open, and I will also ask the command here, SQL command that I have in there, SQL command dot connect, the connector that I have up here. So dot connect, and what are you connecting? Equals SQL connect, this one. Now let's grab the command again. So I'm going to ask the command to select from my database. So let's say command SQL command dot command text, and that is going to be equals, let's say select from. Now we need the name of my database. If I come up here, that is my database right there, this very one. I can even copy all of that, copy it. If you guys can still recall, my connector is called. So I'm going to come in here and just paste the name of my database there. There we go. Enter that in there, and you see all of those errors are gone. Okay, that's taken care of. Now let's do one more thing. We now need the reader. This very guy here. Grab the reader. Okay. Now underneath here, we say reader equals SQL command dot execute reader. There, that's fine. Now the next one we want to go for is the data table. This very one, this right there, that's the data table. Okay, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to place that right underneath here, underneath the reader. So the data table itself dot, we now want you to load, so load whatever the reader has got. So that will be SQL reader. Okay, now that is loaded, once we load whatever we have inside SQL reader, we can close that. SQL reader dot close, and we can also close the connector, SQL connect dot close. There, enter parentheses, and finally we now need to assign all that we have straight onto our data grid view here. This data grid view, I think is called data grid view 1. Copy that, come right down here and just paste that underneath here. Data grid view 1 dot data source, and where is that data source from? It's going to be from the SQL data table. There, that's that taken care of, just like that. Okay, as you guys can see, if you notice, the function kind of like grayed out because I haven't used it. So I'm going to copy that very function, and I'll call that function inside my form load. So let's come in here, double click on the form, and just paste that in there. The form will actually initialize the database itself. Okay, just one thing, let me show you guys something. That is the name of my table. That's the name of my database, and that is the name of my table as well. You can just call your database and your table, but I did the same thing, but for information I can just delete that. Okay, because they both have the same name anyway, so there won't be any problem. And that is it right there. Alright, so you can do it that way, or you can just leave it the way it is. So now the next thing we want to do, we need to now add data. Let's go to add, because the database is empty, there's nothing in there. So even if I run the system, there will be nothing. You won't be able to see anything because I haven't entered any data yet. Okay, so even if I run it now, nothing will happen. You guys will just see a plain data grid view. So I can run it. So let's run it and you see what I'm talking about. Just waiting for it to pop up. There we go, look at that, it's working, that's fine. But I need to be able to add data. Once I add data, we will be able to see whatever data entered inside my data grid view. So that's fine. So I'm going to exit out. Let's double click on our data. Now the first thing I'd like to do is I'm going to come up here and just grab the following. Let's just grab all of these and just that for now. Let's grab that, copy, and I'm going to bring it right down inside my add new data. Paste that in there. Okay, I have my server, I have the user ID, username. Okay, I have the password and the database. That's good. Okay, now let's use try cache here, just in case if I run into any error. Try, and okay, right in here where I have the cache, I'm going to grab all of this and let's put that in here. Okay, now that error is gone. With the cache message, I can just enter. Let's come in here. I'm going to grab all of this and just paste that in there. That will be my message. If there's any error, drop that in there. And let's say that's the name, that's correct. We can just put a message in here, or I can get the system to give me a message. I'm going to call that xe.message. Okay, and you give me a message, so that's fine. And in here I'm going to change this one to information.info. Alright, that's fine. And let's change this one to OK. Yeah, that's fine. So the try cache is taken care of. Now in here, open up the data. Okay, open up the database, and here let's use a query here. Let's get rid of these ones. I'm going to get rid of these. Okay, not to confuse you guys, let's get rid of all of this. I'm still going to need it. So there, I'm going to call that MySQL query equals insert. Let's put that in a quote in there. Yeah. Insert. And why do I have an error here? Did I not declare that? Okay. Let's go up here. I think I did not declare it. So I'm going to come down here and just say dim query as a string. Yeah. So that error should be gone now. Where is it? Yeah, that error is gone. Okay, so I want you to insert into my database. This is my database here. It's called my connector. So I'm going to grab that and just paste that right here. myconnector.connect. That's the name of my database, the table and the database and the table. Okay, and in there I have the following data. So let's see. Let's go in there. Have all of this: student ID, first name, and so on. So let's enter those in here. So the first one is going to be student ID. Student ID. Okay, that is my very first one. Then I'm going to enter a comma there, then followed by first name, surname, comma, and address, comma, we have a postcode. Let's see, how did I write the postcode in here? Let's see. Okay, with uppercase C, postcode, comma, and finally I have a telephone there. So that's taken care of. Now let's say the value that is going to be, say, and what is that going to be? The name of my very first text box. Let's see the name. That is txt. Yeah, txt, student ID. So in there I should have student ID in there, dot text. And the next one is going to be, let's say, and the next one, that will be, let's comma here, and we also need, and the next one, that is my txt, first name, dot text, yeah, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that for the others. So I can just grab this and just copy and paste, then change it around. Okay, this is surname. Okay, and grab all of these. And paste here. Get rid of this. Surname. The next one is going to be address. Change this to address, and so on, guys. I'm going to speed that up. And there, guys. So what I'm going to do next is, let's call my, let's say, the update data. Yeah, that's it. Update table. I need to call that as well. And one other thing is, supposing we have an error, let's get this one to finally dispose of any error. I'm going to say finally. Okay, and that will be the connector SQL connect dot dispose. Alright, there. And that is all there is to that. So I'm going to try this out. So far I don't think there's any error here, so I'm going to try it out. Let's run it and see, and we take it from there. Save, run. There we go. False achievement. There's no error, nothing. So I'm going to add some data in here. Let's say the very first one is going to be that. That's the student ID, and the name is let's say James Dean. Yeah, why not? An address of James Dean, number 19. Let's call it Wallet Avenue. And okay, telephone number. Alright, so let's click on add. Yeah, it's working. Look at that. That is fine. Let's see if I can duplicate this very student ID. No way, Jose. That's good. I like that. Supposing I enter 2 in there and just that works. Okay. And now James is there. Let's change this to Sammy. Let's say South. Yes, Sammy South End. And change all of that. Change his telephone number as well. There we go. Add. Oh, I need to change the primary key. Naughty boy. I shouldn't have forgotten that. Yep, that's it. I shouldn't have forgotten that. There we go. That's fine. Okay. So we can now take care of the rest of them. Nothing is happening now. So this is working and this is working as well. Alright, let's take care of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Now, let's take care of one very easy one. Double click on this guy here. Double click on that. And I'm going to enter the following lines of code for the reset. So those are the lines of code that will take care of my reset button right there. Okay. There. So if I run it now, let's run it and you guys see how those lines of code works. So I come in here, just enter whatever value in here and try this out as well. Reset, that is it, taken care of. So let's take care of the update. So let's come in here, double click on update and let's speed that up. In fact, there we go. Those are the lines of code for my update. Right here, from here, take it down here. Okay, those are the lines of code for the update. So I'm going to show you guys how the update works. But before we can get the update to work, we need to right click on this, okay, or select that, and let's come straight to the property here and we click on cell click. So double click on that or press enter, and we then enter the lines, the following lines of code for the data grid view. One cell click, that is it. Those are the lines of code for that as well. Okay, have a good look at it. I just want to speed this up. This is for update. Let's move that up. And here, that is my reset. Lines of code for reset. There. So let's run it and you guys see how that works. Okay, I'm going to select one of these. There we go. And let's say we want to change any of these. Okay, let's change the avenue to road. There. And take a good look at this. So I'm going to click on update. There we go. Let's just change the avenue to road. So that is working. That works. And this works. So we need to just take care of delete and print. So we're gonna have to take care, speed that up as well. Double click on delete. So for the delete, I'm just going to use a very simple line of code. Let's use a for loop for each row as data grid view row. There we go. in data grid view 1. View 1 dot selected rows, and that selected row we want the data grid view. Copy that, press enter here. Data grid view dot rows dot remove, just to remove whatever we have on that row. There, that's it. So I'm now going to also call my update function. There we go. There. So I'm going to save that. Those are the simple line of code I'm going to use for that data grid view itself. So run. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to select one of these and let's change this name to Helen Dean, no, Helen Moon, and change this as well. Let's change this and change this. There. Okay, that's a new data. So set. Oh, primary key is the same. Oh dear. Okay, update. We have Ellen there. Okay, let's change this around again, and there. So I'm going to delete that. So let's say delete. Yeah, that's it. Done. Okay, that is fine. All we then need to do now is to take care of print. There. Exit. So now we need to take care of this. Let's come in here, double click on the print button, and there, those are the lines of code for the print button there. So it's more or less like you taking a print screen of the data grid view yourself. So let's do one more thing, and the print document there, double click on the print document, referring the print document to the data grid view itself, and that is it right there. Okay guys, okay, that's the variable that I declared right up there, and now you make use of it. All right, okay, and let's take care of the search as well. So I'm going to select the search here. Let's go to the properties here. Make sure you select event, and we want key press right in here. Let's double click on that, and right in here, that's the key press, the event. So in here, let's enter the following lines of code for the search there. So those are the lines of code for search. So I will now run it. So let's save it all, then just run it and see. There we go. So I'm going to click on print first. Let's see how the print works. There we go. That's the print right there. Okay, so if you want to print, just click on this. I don't have a printer on my system, so there's no point doing that. And that is it for the print. Let's take care of, or let's have a look at the print function, the search function as well. Just gonna enter maybe Helen there. Let's enter Helen and press enter. There we go. The two Helen's data that appears in there. Okay, so that is it. Everything works. Exit works, so you can see there. Okay, let's run it one more time. So just before that, that is my search, and we have the print functions, search, print, and the print button. We have delete, working from the data grid view. When you click on that, update, then we have reset, and that is the add data. So let's run it and see now, and we can just call it the end of this tutorial. there. So I can select, let's select James. There we go. And reset. And we can add another data in there. And the name, let's say Sunny Jonathan. And the address, number 4, Goldstown. And the telephone number, there. All they need to do is click on add. There we go, and the details of Sunny is officially added onto the spreadsheet or data grid view. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this beautiful tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member of the channel. That helps a great deal if you guys are a member of the channel. It only costs £1.99 per month. So thanks for watching, and you all have a nice day now. Bye for now.